What's going on, everybody? Steve here with Rake and Profit, and I'm here with my good friend Caleb DeHart, who I've known for about, I would say, a year and a half. We actually did a coaching call about a year and a half ago, and he's inside of the eBay to Amazon flipping community that I've started. He's doing great. Really, really proud of how far Caleb's come in his journey, and I wanted to bring him on the channel because I was thinking to myself the other day, I saw you comment in our live stream. I think it was, yesterday when we had Josiah and Aaron, who are both on their way to being, well, Josiah's a 7-figure eBay to Amazon flipper. Aaron's going to hit it this year. Nice. And then I saw you comment. I'm like, why have I not brought you on the channel? Dude? Like, you're stone cold eBay to Amazon flipping killer. That's what we like to call you.
I love it. Yeah.
But dude, it's so great to have you here, man. So Caleb's been flipping on eBay to Amazon for about 2 years now. In the last year, he's done $461,000 in gross revenue. In the last 30 days, he's kicking my butt. He's doing $70,000. So he's got me beat for the last 30 days, but I'm catching up, man. I'm coming for you. Nice. And today we're just going to be, sharing Caleb's story, how he got started. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks for getting started with eBay to Amazon, how to grow, how to scale, how this guy is absolutely crushing it. So let's start off by maybe getting into your story, Caleb. How did you discover Amazon? How did you discover eBay to Amazon specifically?
Well, about 4 years ago, I needed some type of work or job to happen. And one of my friends said, hey, I've been looking at Amazon and it looks pretty good. So I got on my laptop and I watched YouTube videos for a few months. I think it took me about a month to launch my first product, to flip my first product. And I started with OA. I didn't know about E to A at the time. That was kind of a 2-year journey before I learned about E to A, which is where I've landed now and has done very well. But I learned a lot with OA. That was a tough business. A lot of price tanking, but I learned the ropes on how to sell on Amazon. That helped a little bit. And after 2 years, I stumbled across Flipmine on a Google ad. And I knew enough about eBay just through kind of being involved in selling on Amazon that prices are normally less on eBay. And so I kind of believed in it, jumped into it, and it was really good right off the bat. Definitely a learning curve, but a great opportunity. I'd say E to A crushed OA or RA, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed it too when I was doing traditional online arbitrage. There was a lot of price tanking, and a keep a chart could look great, but then everybody else sees the deal as well. And next thing you know, it goes from 60 to 40 and your margin's gone. And with eBay to Amazon, it's like you could find these items where nobody's on the listing, or maybe only a couple people are on the listing. And it's really hard to tank a listing when there's only 2 sellers or 3 sellers on the listing. So I definitely hear you on that. So you found Flipmine, and I actually got hit by an ad too, because I was manually sourcing at the time. Like I was literally just looking things up on eBay. Like I would open up my Amazon seller app and I would scan the new listings like a bozo. And that's how I was finding stuff.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we all have a journey how we figure it out, right? That's why watching Steve, is so good, because he'll cut to the chase and what's, available to make some profit.
Dude, that's what it's all about, man. By the way, what are your sales at for today? That's how we got to start things off, man. How's the sales today?
I think I'm over 1,000. So far today, I'm at 1,252.
Oh man, you got me beat, man. So today I'm doing a day in the life. So every 30 minutes, I'm checking my sales. Usually I don't. I'm at 871 with $295 profit. So
nice.
I'm happy with those margins. But again, Caleb, man, this is the new thing now. Every time I talk to you, man, your sales are higher than me. I remember we had a coaching call. You were half my sales, dude. What has happened over the last year in your business, man? Because you're taking off like a racehorse.
That's a good question. I think I've stayed consistent since I started with E to A. And that was kind of good to do because it was profitable right off the bat. Buying something on eBay to sell on Amazon, because it doesn't price tank, is profitable right away. So I was able to talk to some friends and family, and now the bank. I just got my first bank loan. And I was able to borrow little bits of money to start. I think my first bit that I borrowed was $1,000, and then 2,000, and then 3,000. So over the last 2 years, I slowly grew up my capital. And that's how I was able to scale. So as I would get more money, I would do more buying. And I buy more expensive items on eBay. I kind of did that right off the bat. I started with, I think my average sale price is almost $200. So I started with the higher ticket items. So I'm able to source for less amount of time and make more revenue without having to source for too many hours. So I've just been able to scale slowly but surely for 2 years now.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that was a big mistake that I made earlier in my career. And I was going to ask you, what are some mistakes to avoid for beginners? But one mistake that I made was when I first started, man, E to A, I was flipping things for freaking $30. I was selling, dude, there were months I was literally selling over 1,500 items per month with eBay to Amazon. And it's a lot of work, right? Like doing that low ticket. Like I know you said you started with the low ticket, but I'm high ticket now too. My ASP's, again, dude, you're kicking my butt. My ASP, I think, is at like 109, which is still incredible. But you're at 200, man. So was that a mistake you had made? I know you said you started with higher ticket, but did you dabble at all with like $40, $50 items or $30 items? Or you just knew like, I want to do the high ticket. That's where the money is. It's less work.
It's less work. And that's what I thought when I was doing OA. So 4 years ago, when I started with OA and tactical arbitrage, I was selling low ticket items. But I would kind of dream as I was working, like, hey, wouldn't it be nice to sell a more expensive item, make more profit with each sale? And so I think when I came across Flipmine, I was like, hey, these are more expensive items. This is good. But I made a lot of mistakes when I started E to A. I purchased items without seeing the full item, the pictures, maybe there wasn't enough pictures, maybe it wasn't completely sealed, things I didn't know, and I was excited and I would go ahead and buy it. And then my return rate was super high. 1 month, my return rate was over 30%.
Oh my God.
I think it was 30. My worst month was 35%. And something had changed. I had a lot of bad reviews and I was just kind of go doing it myself. And I'd say I got a little bit lucky. Like, I didn't have too many serious issues. Amazon didn't shut down my account or, nothing too serious. But I learned from that. And I learned to message sellers, get more pictures, do my due diligence beforehand. But at $50 a profit per item, it was worth it to do that, to wait for them to respond, to get more pictures. And eBay sellers respond most of the time and are happy to send photos. It's not an issue. So my return rate is below 20% now. It's still high. It might be 15 to 18%, but
wow,
much better than where it was.
That is a really, really high return rate. But funny enough, I know multiple people who have return rates doing E to A that are, around that same number. I mean, I think mine for this year is about 9%, which is still people, they kind of scoff at it. Like I'll share like, I've done 700,000 in sales. I've netted 130,000 after everything. And they're like, yeah, but your return rate's 10%. And it's like, who cares? I mean, if your margins are high enough and your ROI is high enough, it can actually make up for super duper high returns.
Right.
But I mean, 15 to 18% is really high. So what's your average ROI you're going after to be able to pay yourself and remain profitable with that high of a return rate? For me, I'm at about 60% ROI to be able to make enough money for what I'm comfortable with like a 9-10% return rate. So your ROI must be higher, I'm assuming.
Well, I like it to be over 50%, but it's pretty often that it'll go over 100%. So,
oh wow,
it evens out to be a lot more than 50%, but I will take a deal at 50% ROI. But I think when I was doing OA and starting Amazon, I was encouraged by some VAs and some people I would talk to online that 20% was fine. And that wasn't because of the price tanking. And typically more than half the time I'd be losing money on a product. So that taught me to make sure I had plenty of profit if I could get it. So I'd say 50% is really the lowest that I'll go with.
Yeah, that's smart. When I started in 2021, I would flip 25%, 30% ROI, but I learned quite quickly between the seldom price tanking, which still happens from time to time on any listing, but it's 95% less compared to traditional OA, with returns, with lost shipments, with whatever, getting scammed by an eBay seller from time to time. You've got to have that margin higher. So I love it. I love it. We got a comment coming in, Caleb, from Clint, who I know very well. I know he's in the ReplenCatcher group, saying, really enjoy the eBay to Amazon seller interviews you are having, Steve. Learn something new from each one. Well, awesome, Clint. I'm learning a bunch as well. Johnny's saying, when is Q&A? Anytime, Johnny. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask Caleb. Shoot them over. We're happy to answer questions. Sarah, what's up, Sarah? She's been a part of the eBay to Amazon community for a long time, is saying eBay to Amazon fixed my return rate. It was 30%, Caleb, with OA, she said.
Well, I understand that pain. I understand that. I'm glad it's better now. That's great.
So we talked about some mistakes. I guess maybe we'll transition over to what types of products are you flipping from eBay to Amazon? Do you have a favorite niche or a category? Are you, obsessed with electronics? Do you love DVDs? Is there anything in particular that you kind of gravitate towards? Or are you like, listen, Steve, I don't care. If I log into Flipmine or ReplenCatcher and I see it's profitable and I see it's moving and that keep it chart is looking cute, I'm popping.
Yeah, I feel that way. The latter, I'll resell something if it has a good profit margin and I understand it. So I do well with commercial type products. I call it commercial. That might be light switches or tools, something that I feel like, some type of handyman is going to get their hands on it. And, the packaging might not be perfect, but I'm able to have a little more leeway with what I purchase and the packaging condition if it's a tool or something like that. So I found that to be a niche that I do well in. And then also electronics. I purchase a lot of electronics. I did learn, it seems to be something a lot of people talk about, that modems and routers, if someone's getting into E2A, be very careful about those because they're good looking deals.
Yeah.
But if it's not completely sealed in plastic wrap, it's likely to get returned in my experience. And that's where a lot of my returns came from. So, but electronics, I've done well with that. I've heard some people say, be careful. They don't work sometimes. I like to sell expensive stuff. I've got away from the items that are $800. I've had too many returns on high ticket items. I like to stick around the $100 to $400 range in a sale price.
I mean, you could run a really nice business making $3,000 to $5,000 net profit, doing a small amount of units. If you're dealing with those $200, $300, $400 items. I mean, I have a friend of mine, big shout out to Curtis. That's all he flips. $300, $400, $500 items. He has a Replen's list of about 85 items and he just replenishes them. And I don't sell any of the items that he sells. And that's the interesting thing. There's so many items that you can flip out there. Right. So many different niches. I don't know if you mess with toys at all, Caleb, but that's probably my top niche that I like to go after. Board games, action figures. I just sold a Ninja Turtle, little play set for $140. I mean, just weird little things. I'm looking at some of my sales right now. I just sold a telephone for $82. I mean,
yeah, phones do great for me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Bonus Bandit is asking, Caleb, are most of your eBay to Amazon flips new or used?
Yeah, well, I only sell new, I believe, unless I have to resell or return. Amazon does resell some of my items as used, but to start, when I'm buying something, I only buy new.
Yep. Same here, man. I'm 99% new. The only time I sell used is if I find something at a thrift store or a garage sale. I'm new just because I feel like the return rate is less. It's easier to process. I like looking at the buy box, the new buy box. It's easier to kind of figure out what an item is going to sell for. Whereas with used, I notice there's a lot of times maybe more price tanking, or there's a bigger merchant to FBA gap. I mean, I just love looking at that pink line on Keepa. I don't know. Maybe call me crazy, but I'm all new myself. What would you say to people who, I get this often, Caleb, saying, people, usually with people who don't have experience, or maybe someone who got, I don't know, had an issue in the past, saying, if you sell new, Caleb, you're going to get your account banned. You do not have invoices, Caleb. You have to sell your items as used.
Mhm. Well, I would say that's kind of a smaller risk if you're careful. It's still a risk, but smaller if you're careful. Um, it's definitely a risk, and I think that's of business in general. Is there's going to be some catch with running a business, and that would be it with Amazon. Is that you have to be careful to not get your account banned. When I did OA, I got 3 IP complaints in one day. This was in my first few months of starting 4 years ago, and they shut down my account. And you know what? From the experiences I've heard of other sellers, I think I got lucky. And someone from Amazon called me, just said, don't do that again. And I'm thinking, well, what did I do? I didn't realize I was going to get IP complaints, but I think I downloaded IP Alert or that software after that. But they said, don't do it again. And they turned it back on in a couple hours, which was really nice. But with E2A, to not get IP complaints, I don't sell fast selling items that sell hundreds of times a month.
Yeah.
I don't sell when the brand sells it.
Yep.
And that's the way I look at it for now. But I would say there's always some risk, but the upside is really good if you can make it through that.
Yeah, I call it flying under the radar, right? I kind of coined that with E2A. We're trying to fly under the radar. We're not going after super sexy, super popular items. Matter of fact, if you were to take a look at my store or Caleb's store, you might say to yourself, there's a bunch of junk, right? Selling 5 times a month or 10 times a month, right? 15 times a month.
Right. Absolutely. A lot of people would say, well, a lot of people do say, I've talked to a lot of people, they want to sell stuff that sells 10,000 times a month, buy 300, 500 units. And that's a lot riskier, in my opinion. Although you might have an invoice, Amazon can delist any listing at any time or kick you off a listing. That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's another reason I love E2A. And I'm not here to convince anybody to do it. I don't think Caleb and I really care. I mean, we're sharing our story. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. But that's another benefit. We're typically, I can only speak for myself, but I think you and I are in a similar position where we're not buying 30, 40, 50, 100. I'm usually just buying one or a couple.
Right.
And hey, fine. Remove the listing. I get that happen. It happens to me all the time. They remove a listing. Fine. I'll move on to one of my 7,899 other replens.
Right. When you're only buying 1 or 2, that's another huge advantage with E2A is if a listing is taken away, it's not something you have to sweat for too long. It's okay to lose an item here and there.
So let's answer this question really quick. Johnny is asking, big shout out to Johnny, Utah in the house, saying, question here, Steve, with your business model, do I have to take possession of the product or can I be completely hands off and use a fulfillment center or a prep center? So are you using a prep center? What are you doing? What are your thoughts on that question?
Well, I do. I use Little Owl, which is probably maybe the best thing that I got from the conference last year. The
nice
and beyond was meeting the owner and joining Little Owl. I've used quite a few prep centers, and this is the best one. Their software is fantastic. They do a really good job, and I don't have to have the items. I did FBM for a while when I did E2A. After I got all my returns from FBA and I had too many returns, I decided I was going to get the items to my house and look at everything myself. And I did that for about 8 months and shipped every item myself. But I've since moved to FBA, which is much easier to scale. And I love that you can remove bad reviews if you're doing FBA most of the time. That's also very helpful. Yeah, I use a prep center.
Dude, I am so glad, man. And that just goes to prove, you network with people, you go on a live stream, you meet up with a friend who's selling on Amazon. All it takes sometimes is learning 1 or 2 things that could change your business. Because I think when I had that coaching call with you, when you hired me that time about 1.5 years ago, the first time we met, I think you were doing around like 40K a month. Don't quote me on that, but I think you were merchant fulfilling, weren't you?
I was. At the time, I was shipping out of my basement every other day. I was shipping a lot. And that took about 2 or so hours each time I had to ship, maybe up to 3 hours driving to the post office and UPS. And I honestly think I'm making more money now doing FBA and spending less time doing it.
Dude, and I'm laughing too, because I remember you were like in some like dark basement. I remember. You look like a vampire, dude. I'm like, this guy, you could always tell, man. Like when I was prepping all my own stuff, I was just like in this dark basement, like sweating. And like now it's like there's more light where you are. It's like you're in a nice office now. You look happier.
Well, I learned a lot doing FBM. I did learn a lot. I was able to look at each item. There were some small advantages just to be more careful with what I was purchasing because I would see everything come to the house. So it was a good learning experience. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And if you're grinding, I didn't mind the shipping. I was grinding. I was building my Amazon store. I didn't mind handling more products on my own and spending more time. But I wanted to scale and do more. And so FBA was how I could do that.
Awesome. Love it. And also, guys, I wanted to mention to you, let me fix my camera here. There we go. I want to mention to you guys that Caleb and I, plus a bunch of other sellers, are going to be over in Las Vegas, October 10th to October 12th for the Books and Beyond conference, guys. So this conference is going down in about a month and a half. And this is where, Caleb met everybody for the first time, learned about the Prep Center, started to grow his business. So we have a bunch of different speakers who are going to be there. We've got a bunch of awesome sponsors, Thrift Books, Bookmine, Little All Prep's going to be there, the owner. We're going to have Books Run over there as well. So definitely check it out. There's a link down below, but we have tons of speakers. Avery of Go-To Lister is going to be there. Michelle, who's a 6-figure online seller, flipping Amazon to Amazon. We got Joji, the Amazon to Amazon King. We got Jen, who is doing about 6 figures per year, about 100,000 with eBay to Amazon flipping. Of course, I'll be there. We've got Walmart content from Amanda. I mean, we've got a bunch of just awesome people who are going to be there. Aaron, he's on pace to do $1 million eBay to Amazon flipping. Josiah, we've got Riley, who owns a bookstore. Reezy resells. So definitely consider getting a ticket, guys. The link is down below. And yeah, come hang out, ask some questions, and yeah, I'm pumped, man. I am super duper pumped for Books and Beyond. Mm-hmm. We got Philip saying, finally made a live stream. Philip in the house, man, not only crushing it on Amazon, but also been killing it with the weight loss as well. So been loving that. Oh, we got Bill as well. Bill is going to be there. He's part of a company that's one of the, I think, are you the largest bookseller in the world on Amazon? I think so.
Wow.
Right? I believe so. They're up there. Yeah. So cool. Bill is the man, dude. He's the life of the party. If you see a big, tall guy and everyone surrounding him laughing, that's Bill. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving here, Caleb. So I want to be clear. You're using a Prep Center and you're doing FBA now, 100%?
Yes, 100%.
And you're all new.
Right.
And are you running this business solo, or do you have a team helping you? Do you have virtual assistants? If so, what are they doing? Or are you just running this as a one-man show?
I'm just a one-man show. I had a virtual assistant for a while. We got pretty close. He did a good job, but he had some health issues, had to go away for long periods of time, and then eventually just dropped off. And when he did that, I just decided to do it myself because I really enjoy finding deals. So, I may get back to looking for a team so I don't have to spend, I don't have to have a job doing it. But for now, I'm doing it on my own, the whole business. And I don't mind it. I don't mind doing that. I enjoy sourcing.
Wow. That's impressive. And for you, it's probably like not a big deal because you're used to putting in that time and effort when you used to have to merchant fulfill and ship everything. So now you have all this free time with the Prep Center.
Right. It's not bad. It's not bad. And I'm going to probably do 700,000 this year with a 10% margin. And that's just doing it on my own. So I'm very happy with that. And I may scale to do more. Depending on who I meet, who I talk to. That's why I want to go to this conference and meet some people who are doing more and learn from them.
Love it, man. Love it. So that's really cool. So I guess my question is, how much time are you spending in total on your Amazon business? So on average per week.
Well, I would say I source every day if I can. It's easy for me just to jump on my laptop and I'll source for 15 or 20 minutes. That's kind of how E to A works for me. is it's not a continuous sourcing. It's like 15, 20 minutes at a time. Then I have another hour or so to do something else, and then I can source for another 20 minutes. I would say I probably spend maybe 30 hours a week in total running this business.
30 hours a week. So how many hours per day would you say that adds up to on average?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 5 hours or 4 hours a day.
Gotcha. Okay. 4 or 5 hours a day. And then what, the other 10 hours a week is what, on just repricing your inventory, maybe opening up cases, fixing stranded inventory, back end stuff like that, boring stuff, right?
Right. You got to go to Little Owls. With the prep center, you got to let them know what products are coming. You got to check your emails, because there's always an issue with a listing when you have 400 or 500 items or listings at Amazon. There's always something to do every day. And then, of course, you have to keep an eye on your shipments. If some items are missing, you have to upload your invoices or your eBay receipts and try to get that refunded. There's always something to do, but it's not dramatic, and it's not a lot. So personally, I handle it myself.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about sourcing, right? Sourcing from eBay and flipping on Amazon. So you're sourcing all your inventory on ebay.com, right?
Yes, on ebay.com. That's right.
And what tools are you using? Can you share like all the tools that you use? Because there's so many different ways that you can literally find items. You can manually source items. You can use, different software. So what are you doing? Like what are the softwares or the processes you have in place to be able to source your deals?
So I use SellerAmp and Keepa as my basics, and those do really well and are very inexpensive software. So it's very nice. Those do a great job on the Amazon. What's that?
What do they do for you? They don't help you source, or do you source with them?
Oh, no, actually, no, I don't source with them. The softwares I source with are Flipmine and ReplenCatcher. So I've come to love ReplenCatcher because I have a nice replens list. I was able to upload that, and ReplenCatcher finds a lot of items that Flipmine doesn't. And it's really nice to sell replens because you've already sold it once. You know it's going to sell. There's some huge, I'd say less risk if you've already sold the item. So ReplenCatcher and Flipmine are what I use to source. I just go back and forth between the two. And that's how I do all my sourcing.
So what's your reason for having two? Do you notice that maybe ReplenCatcher misses some on the live stream and then Flipmine misses some? So you want to have to cast the widest net?
They both catch different items. And I'd say having two, I can source faster. I don't have to spend as much time sourcing. And so the cost of the softwares are worth it to have both of them. So yeah, I have 10,000 items on ReplenCatcher. I've paid a lot for that because it's worth it. Just selling a couple high ticket items pays for the software for the month.
Got you. And when you're sourcing with, Flipmine only has a live stream, right? You're not able to track replens or anything with Flipmine. So with Flipmine, you're only in the live stream. With ReplenCatcher, there's a live stream, and then there's this replen area where you can upload your custom items. So with the ReplenCatcher, do you find yourself more in the live stream or more in the actual replen area, or is it kind of like a split between the two for you?
I use both, but I really enjoy using the replen area a lot. I'm a sucker for replens. I love selling something that I've already sold. But the live stream is very helpful because then when you find something on the live stream, it's new and it's a future replen. So that's a huge advantage too.
Do you notice that there's items that you're tracking in the ReplenCatcher that aren't in any of the live streams at all?
What do you mean by that exactly? Like, oh, yes. Okay. So, right. So it'll show up on the replen, but it won't show up on the live stream. Absolutely. That's why I like having both softwares, is because they find different items.
Yeah. Because the way it works is like Flipmine has a database of whatever, probably 2-3 million products. ReplenCatcher has a database of 2-3 million products. But the thing is, there's 300 million products. So there's probably products in Flipmine's database that we're not tracking. And then there's probably products that they're not tracking, because think about it. How do you build a database of products? Like you have to go into Keepa product finder, you have to storefront stock, you have to go into Keepa, pull all the data and try to find items that, are good potential. But there's tons of items that, either software is not able to track. So yeah, by building a replens list, you could essentially be monitoring products that nobody's looking at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The items are available on the replen list for a lot longer. On Flipmine, items may only be available for 30 minutes or an hour, but on the ReplenCatcher, items can be available all day, which is nice.
Awesome, man. I love it. I love it. So you're sourcing with Flipmine, you're sourcing with the ReplenCatcher. Do you have any personal rules? Like everybody has their own little rules for what they consider a successful flip. It might be a minimum amount of monthly sales or a sales rank or a minimum profit or ROI. I know you mentioned you like at least a 50% ROI. And I think you said $50 profit, if I heard you correctly. Is that true? And are there any rules that you like to stick to with your sourcing that have helped you to sell almost $500,000 so far this year?
Well, I like at least $35 in profit, at least. And I only buy items that sell at least one time a month. So I feel like if it sells one time a month, then if I'm able to be the lowest price, then I'll go for it. Typically the sweet spot might be 4 to 10 times a month in sales. I like that a lot more, but I'll take a 1 to 2 sales per month. I would say an interesting trick is that items that don't have a sales rank still might sell. And I didn't know that when I started. So when I put my filters on Flipmine, I don't have a sales rank filter because Amazon doesn't always track sales rank. So you can tell from reviews, if an item has reviews but no sales rank, it still sells. And so that's nice because a lot of people aren't looking for that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic tip. Even to add to that, Caleb, sometimes targeting items with a really high sales rank might work out very well because sometimes a product actually sells really, really fast. But the problem is it's impossible for a product to sell fast if there's none available on Amazon. So
right.
I come across products all the time where the rank looks terrible, the monthly sales looks terrible, because I mean, it can't look good if there's nothing on the market ever. It's like rare, it's discontinued. It's, you can't find it. You got these guys who are just looking for this toy, looking for this electronic, looking for this tool to finish their home construction. And you find it, you put it out, boom, gone instantly. But
yeah, those are the best. Yeah. I love finding a gold nugget where other people aren't looking. And that's all that adds up. The tricks you learn, it all adds up.
Exactly. And sometimes you can find an item where it doesn't look that great, but it maybe has 1 sale per month or 2 sales a month, Caleb, right? But there's only 1 person on the listing or 2 people on the listing. Like you could sell an item that is a top 8% sales rank, doesn't look that great. You could sell it in a week because there's not many people on the listing. Most people are thinking like it has to be popular and super amazing, which when you traditionally source or do traditional online arbitrage, it has to be good because you're competing with 42 other people.
Right. That's the beauty of E2A is you're flying under the radar, you're selling discontinued items. And honestly, I think you're providing a great service to the community out there buying on Amazon because, there might be a discontinued item that's selling for $800 and you can go ahead and sell it for $499, give a huge discount and still make a good profit because it's a rare item. So a lot of rare items, a lot of discontinued items. And I think the brands are more than happy for you to sell a discontinued item that they don't make anymore, but you're still pushing their products. So yeah, I think we do a pretty good service there to Amazon buyers.
I love it, man. I love it. So Caleb, what advice would you give to somebody who maybe their only way to source products right now is maybe like thrift stores or garage sales or library sales or flea markets, and they're just spending so much time sourcing and they're having a hard time maybe getting their sales over 5,000 a month or 6,000 a month because they work a full-time job. They don't have 50 hours a week to go out and hunting. They're not 22 years old with no job. They've got a family, but they want to be able to source more items. They want to maybe get into eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon, but they're just concerned, right? Because they're just not used to having to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks on an item to flip it for 60. And they're unsure about Keepa charts and all these things, but they know like they're just spinning their wheels, you know, and they want to be able to grow. Like, is this something maybe someone like that could get into, or like, how can they get into it?
We'll jump in, I would say. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money to jump in. You can buy one item and try to sell it, you know. But to jump in and try, and certainly join a community to be able to ask questions and watch videos. That's what I did. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and that worked. That's how I was able to learn. But, you know, if someone has a full-time job and doesn't have a lot of time, if you can jump on your computer and set up with a prep center where you don't even have to touch the item, but just jump on your computer for 15 minutes and try to find one item with a $50 profit. You know, if you can do that in 15 minutes, that's, what is that, $100 an hour? I mean, it's a great deal. So that's what I would suggest, is just to start small, but to jump in and get started.
And what would you say to people who are like, well, I can't do what you're doing, Steve. I can't do what you're doing, Caleb, because you guys are ungated, right? You're able to sell all these brands. I'm a new seller. I could barely even sell books, let alone Hasbro or Transformers or Leviton or whatever, right? So how did you get ungated for products and stuff? Because you haven't been doing this for 12 years like me. Like I always say to people, I do have a big advantage over people. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been putting in the work. They trust me. They've ungated me in a lot of products, but you've only been doing this for what, a couple of years. So, I mean, what are your thoughts there?
I've never been ungated. I've never intentionally become ungated in anything by sending in products. I've never been able to do that. I have always just stuck with what I'm ungated in. And even from day one, when I started on Amazon, I was ungated in some items. I remember there being like a good deal, and then I was gated, and another good deal, and then I was gated. I do remember that. I actually think E to A it's more common to be ungated doing these discontinued items. So I think it's a little bit easier. But I don't have experience getting ungated. I never had to do that. I just pushed through and found items that I was ungated in.
Did you find that over time, as you've sold more items, that Amazon's auto ungated you when you apply to sell, where they don't ask you for invoices? Because I've noticed that I've been auto ungated in a lot of items over the years. There were a lot of brands I couldn't sell, but as I sold more, got positive feedback, Amazon, they just like would unlock brands for me.
Yeah. I definitely try to get ungated many times, and sometimes it works. Maybe 20% of the time, maybe 15% of the time I can get ungated. And that's been happening since day one. Since day one that I had my Amazon store and I was doing OA, I was able to get ungated sometimes just by, asking, just by clicking through. So yeah. It is definitely possible to do that. But as I've heard, as you have an Amazon store for longer, you're ungated in more.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever done this, but with ReplenCatcher, you can filter everything that you're restricted on. So you could, you could see everything you're restricted on, and you could go in and apply to sell for all of them. Have you ever done that to try to get auto ungated?
I had no idea you could do that. So you're saying you can apply to ungate in multiple items at one time?
You can't do multiple at one time, but if, like, for example, say you go into the live stream and you see that there's, I don't know, maybe there's 10,000 items that you're restricted on. It'll have like a red background. You're restricted. There's a button above it for each one that says apply to sell. So all you have to do is click it. It'll prompt you.
Right. That's what we're talking about, doing that. Yeah. I love it when you make it easier and it's just one button available right there.
Yeah. We didn't develop a way to like do 1,000 at a time, because I don't know if that's possible, probably against Amazon's terms of service, but
might be messy. Yeah.
Dude, when we developed that, man, I told my VAs to go through and do that. And I did it. And man, I think I got auto ungated in like 1,000+ products, probably more now.
Wow. I should do that.
Yeah. Because a lot of times what people do with ReplenCatcher is they just turn the filter to hide everything that they're restricted on, which makes sense because time is money. You don't want to see all the items you're restricted on, right? Like you could be missing potential opportunities, but a lot of those items would auto ungate you. So if you spend the time to just apply to all of them, and then if it asks for invoices, you can go into the live stream and ReplenCatcher and block it forever. Say you never want to see it again. So it saves time. So now your live stream gets cleaner and cleaner, more and more results, and your competitors, they're not doing that at all. And yeah, I've been able to find some killer deals with the ReplenCatcher, and I mean, just in general by doing that. You know, it's that upfront work that doesn't pay you, doesn't make you any money, but down the road it does, because I come across a lot of deals, even in the live stream, that are just killer, and people don't buy them because they think they're gated. And most people could probably get auto gated, but they don't click apply to sell.
Yeah,
So,
that's something I should do more often. That's good. That's good.
yeah, what are you doing, dude? You're doing more in sales than me. I'm trying to teach you things. You know, I don't know what's going on here. No. You know what's funny, man? There's so many tips and tricks, right? There's so many things. I'm learning a ton on this call with you. Now, I'm curious, is there any product or any item that you purchased that you ended up flipping and you were like, holy crap, this item sold for way more money than I thought? Or do you have like any like amazing best flip that you can share that just stands out to you over
Well,
there?
two different ones that I love right now. One would be when I can buy an item for $100 and sell it for $300 and it sells pretty quickly. I love that. I feel like that's my threshold where I don't feel like it's a scam. If it can sell for $700 or $800 and I can get it for like $80, I kind of just look the other way and I'm like, well, that's a little too good to be true. I've tried that before. I've got an item for $35, sold it for $450. So I wish I could tell you there was some miracle item, but I mean, these are really sweet when you can get it for $100 and sell it for $350 or $400 or $300. Those are really sweet deals. That's great profit. And those are definitely out there and legitimate. And then the other one is I have a couple items that'll sell every day 2 or 3 times. And I know I've mentioned that I don't like selling items that sell a lot. So I don't buy a lot of those items at one time, just to be careful in case I get kicked off the listing for anything. But I do have a couple items that have good profit and they sell very quickly. I have a couple of those.
Well, if we get 10 people to drop the comment 1 in the comments, Caleb agreed behind the scenes. He's going to release his top 25 replens. He's going to screen share his ReplenCatcher. He's going to show all his best ASINs, and he's going to buy everybody.
Listen. They're out there, you know, I would love to share. I don't think anyone would even go for it if I did. But Google Nest, I'll throw it out there just for the fun of it. A Google Nest product, I think I get them for $70 and they sell for $150 and it sells 1 to 2 times a day. And if someone jumps in there, I don't even think I'll notice. That's how fast they sell.
I'll give away an item. I was just checking my sales. I just sold a Power Rangers Hasbro toy. I paid $109.98 and sold it for $217.99. So be on the lookout for Power Rangers Hasbro toys. Who would have known? Who's buying that for their kid? Spoiled brat.
Oh my gosh. I got some toy returns and I gave them to my nephew. And I'm just looking at this item like, who is buying this for $100? Like, are you kidding me? But they're like discontinued items, right? I mean, there's stuff that's hard to find.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point now where I don't even pretend to understand why people are buying the stuff that I buy. I mean, some of the stuff just blows my mind. Like some of the stuff I get it, right? Like maybe you have an old printer from freaking, I don't know, 2007, and you need this certain toner that's been expired for 1 million years, but someone wants to buy, I don't know, I'm just making up an example, or some type of, I don't know, tool or something electronic that you need, right? But some of this stuff, man, is just, it's crazy. Do you sell toner at all or ink?
I didn't mention it earlier, but you know what? I sell a lot of toner. I did get into some issue with, it was HP toner. I randomly got ungated. And
you're so lucky. Are you serious?
So much of it. And you know what? They have an expiration date, or it's debatable if it's a manufactured date.
Yeah.
But people get confused. If it is and I don't know if it's a manufactured date or expiration date. I've been told both by HP representatives. But there is a date on there that confuses some customers. And anyways, randomly, a month or 2 after I was ungated, Amazon gated me. But they were really cool about this. They gave me 30 days to sell through before they were going to kick me off the listing. So then I sold almost all of it. But I sold a ton of HP, but I sell, is it Recock? Is that how you pronounce that one?
Oh, yeah, RICOCOH or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
That's a I do well with that and Lexmark. I do sell a lot of toner.
Oh yeah, we're probably on the same Lexmark listings, man. There's some that are just there's just one little green box. It's like a little rectangle. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Some of these things.
Yeah. Sells for like $90 maybe. Are you talking about that one?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those things sell for like $200-300, man.
Yes, they do. And they sell good. The funny thing is if the price drops pretty dramatically, they stop selling. So these are, businesses that expect a higher price to make the purchase. I find that kind of interesting.
Love it, man. All right, let's get into some rapid fire questions here. And also anyone who's just coming in, I know someone said, can you catch me up? The replay will be up on the Rake and Profit YouTube channel after this. It automatically, YouTube will post it. So you can definitely rewatch the watch the video. Okay, let's go through some rapid fire because we're getting to that time. So how do you decide whether an item is worth the risk, especially when competition or price history looks uncertain? Is there anything that you kind of weigh out to make sure it's worth it or not? Or is it just profit? Or
Absolutely. The biggest thing that helped me a lot, somewhere along the way, I realized to never need a deal. So that's how I go into anything before I buy it. I don't need it. That's the mindset I go into it with. And I think I learned that because when I started, I was very excited and had a lot of returns and made a lot of bad purchases. So I learned to not need a deal. So if an item is up and down in price a lot, and I think that it might go down in price and I'd set an item for a while, I don't touch it. I don't risk it just because the item, might go back up in price for a little while. I like seeing a consistent keep a chart where the price has been a good price for a long time. So I pass on a lot of deals. That's kind of where I'm at is I pass on a lot that maybe would be good just to make sure my profit stays higher.
Yeah. I mean, with eBay to Amazon, you could pass on the good deals to be available and have the capital for the great deals. If you spend all your money on good deals, the great deals come around, you don't have any more money, you're out of capital. So that's a skill. That's a really, really powerful skill, Caleb, to say no more than you say yes. So.
Right. And it also makes me very comfortable talking to the sellers on eBay because I need to contact them. Almost half of my purchases, I contact the seller and talk to them, whether I need a couple more photos or I need to confirm no seal is broken. I'll let them know I'm going to resell the item. And nobody has ever cared that I'm going to do that. And so that honesty of not needing the deal and not worrying about what they're going to think really helps in the quality of what I'm purchasing.
I bet you there's been times too where you've been able to do deals with these eBay sellers as well. They say, I got more, I'll create a listing.
Oh my gosh, all the time. When you tell them you're going to resell it or you're cool with them, they'll be like, I've got more, or, look at this. And yes, I've got many really good deals that way.
Yeah. The only thing you got to be careful with is like, eBay's AI is really good now. So they're monitoring every single conversation. So you never want to do deals like outside of eBay. And if you do, I have friends of mine who do deals outside of eBay, but like, it's like a merchant, it's like an eBay deal, or like somehow they like, I don't know, they write something in the corner of a piece of paper and send a picture. I mean, you got to be careful though, because you can get I've never done it before. But you got to just a heads up to everybody. Do not try to do deals outside of eBay without being slick, because the AI will catch you. But you can certainly do deals legally on eBay where they create a listing and tell you and whatever.
Well, the seller will try to get you to do it off eBay many times, especially someone with a lot of items or something. They're going to ask. But truthfully, if you say, I'm uncomfortable with that and I want to do the deal on eBay, they might raise the price a little bit, and then you have to negotiate.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I can't pay more than this. So you might lose the deal, and that's where it comes down to not being afraid to lose the deal. But many, many times they'll just sell it to you on eBay instead of going off eBay if you insist on that.
My buddy built a relationship with a seller. Somehow they got the connect off of eBay. They got off eBay somehow, and he's buying, I'm not even kidding, over $50,000 a year from this guy alone, just with this one relationship. I think it's close to 6 figures. They've been working together for multiple years now. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy, the opportunities that you could come across. Next question, Caleb, is, are there any categories you don't mess with eBay to Amazon? Like for me, I don't mess with health and beauty. I don't touch it. I don't pretend to touch it. I stay away. Not very educated in it either.
Well, anything that can be counterfeited. I don't know where you get the experience of what could be counterfeit. I mean, I I have some experience knowing that like, when I first got started with Amazon, I was looking at Google, and there's a lot of products on Google Shop that are counterfeit items, or even on Walmart sometimes. And so health and beauty, that can be one. So being careful not to sell counterfeit items. I forget the question. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah. No, that was pretty much it. Like, are there any categories you're not comfortable with in health and beauty, supplements?
If a seller doesn't have a lot of reviews, I stay away from their perfume. I think perfume can be counterfeit at times.
Speaking of staying away, there's just one person I try to stay away from.
It's Amanda.
We got Amanda, flipping with Amanda. And, we love Amanda.
Yep, she's on Walmart, and there's definitely some opportunity selling eBay to Walmart. I heard yesterday one of the guys talking about that he's getting into that, and I think there's some opportunity there. Way less gating on eBay. It's easier to sell on eBay.
Yeah, from eBay to Walmart for sure. Yeah, and Aaron, that was Aaron. He's going to be at the Books and Beyond conference as well. Caleb's going to be at the Books and Beyond conference.
Oh, yes.
Amanda, she's speaking at the Books and Beyond conference. Matter of fact, Caleb, we might have to get you on a panel, dude. Like, maybe we jump on an E to A panel at the conference, man. You should be speaking, man, like on a panel or something. So,
thanks, man.
But yeah, Amanda has great things to say about you all the time, and it's great to have Amanda here. I know she's at, I think, the Walmart conference. I don't know if it's over or she's still there, but I guess there was a big Walmart conference going on with everyone. So she's out there learning and burning. So good to have you here, Amanda. All right. We have a couple more questions, Caleb. Okay, here you go. How do you handle situations where the price tanks after you've already bought inventory? So have you had situations where you bought inventory and it just tanked?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That happens, especially when you get to selling a lot of items. It's going to happen. It happens rarely with eBay to Amazon. I think it happened maybe 70% of the time with OA, where the price would tank. And now it happens maybe 15% of the time. I just price it lower, but because I have such a lot of profit to start with that 50% or more ROI, I still might make a few bucks, even though I have to dramatically lower the price. So it really isn't an issue, but I like to just reprice my item below the lowest price and just liquidate the inventory if I have to. But it's not a common problem with E to A, which is a huge, huge advantage.
And sometimes too, someone might undercut you, and then they just sell out and it goes right back up. So,
That's
sometimes
true.
price tank.
Yeah. If it's just one seller, that's nice with SellerAmp. You can see how many they have in stock usually. And if they just have one in stock and they drop the price by $80 or whatever, you can just say, whatever, I'll just wait,
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to ask you this question. Why do you think there's such little competition with eBay to Amazon? Is it because it doesn't work? Is it because it's not profitable? Is it because people are scared, right? There's like a certain lingering sentiment around eBay to Amazon flipping. Like, why is, like traditional online arbitrage so freaking just saturated, right? And so much price tanking, but eBay to Amazon is like, even like compared to Amazon and Amazon flipping, it's just way, way less saturated. What are your thoughts around it all? Like your honest thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think it's much easier to sell on eBay. So most people in America that have some junk or some good brand new stuff to get rid of, they're going to go to an eBay account, open that up, and just sell their items there. It's much harder to open an Amazon store. And I think most people, it's like garage sailing on eBay. Except it's across the entire country, and most people will just open an eBay store. So there's huge opportunity, and I think a lot of people don't know about it. If someone's looking to make money online and they think they can flip items on Amazon, that's what they want to do. You're going to find channels on YouTube that talk about OA usually. There's more software around it. It's just maybe, I don't know the exact reasons why, but yeah, it is less saturated E2A, and I found it to be much more lucrative.
Well, let's keep it that way, guys. So, don't get inspired during this interview. Don't get any ideas. Don't think about flipping anything, because we're trying to keep this a good business.
It has helped change my life. If I'm being honest, for anyone out there who's thinking about getting started, it has. I needed something to happen, and I did put in the work, watching the videos, learning, gaining a skill, and borrowing little bits of money until I was able to get it going myself. And it did change my life. I love making a living and working remote. I can get in my car, get on a plane, I can go anywhere at any time and keep my business running legitimately, and I love that.
Amen, brother.
Thanks, Steve, for teaching. Thanks for teaching that. You've helped a lot over the last couple of years.
Well, dude, I appreciate it. I'd love to take all the credit. But dude, you put in the work, man, right? I've seen you collaborate with other people in the community. I've seen you post questions. You've reached out to me. You went to the Books and Beyond conference, right? You've put yourself in a position to be successful. And I would say there's very, very few people, as much as I'd like to say, wow, Caleb and I are so smart. The reality is we're not. Like, we're just average, everyday people. But the one thing that we've done is we've not given up. We've shown up, we've networked, we've learned, we've taken action, we've made mistakes. I mean, as many successes we can share with you guys, trust me, I got a basket full of failures and bad buys and stupid, silly things that I've done, but you showed up, man. So you get all the credit. And for anyone here who's watching, like, maybe you're at a point where you want to start growing your business more, or you're sick and tired of having to just drive around and thrift and all this stuff. There's a way that you can literally grow your business without seeing the products, touching the products, boxing products. And there's a way to do it without having to deal with the price tanking and everybody attacking the same product. Like, this is what I love about eBay to Amazon. There's millions of products you can flip. And every day there's millions of products you can buy, because guess what? On eBay, there's this special little button that everybody can press that's called the best offer.
Right. Right. You can manually search. Yeah. So, well, if you're used to making $100 or if $100 or $200 a day would help you, you can really get into E2A and believe very quickly and see how that's very possible, without having to be a scientist.
Yep. You do not need to be a chemical engineer or a scientist, or you don't have to have a PhD to make money with this. But speaking of a scientist, we've got John Side Hustle Experiment in here, who is experimenting with Amazon Influencer, crushing it, man. Absolutely crushing it. Are you dabbling at all with Amazon Influencer, Caleb? Doing any of that? Creator Connection?
No, but I talked to Side Hustle Experiment at the conference last year, and it was great talking to him and, hearing what he's got going on. And I see some of his videos online. He's getting some items sent to his house that he gets to review and enjoy. And yeah, that looks really cool.
Yep. And John used to do online arbitrage. If it was so profitable, John, why are you doing Amazon Influence? I'm just kidding.
Steve.
I love John. No, we're just messing around. There's definitely opportunities there. Honestly, the reality is there's money to be made with private label, with wholesale, with online arbitrage, but you have to become an expert in it. Like, and the reality is I'm not an expert with traditional online arbitrage, right? So there's people out there killing it, Flip for Miles, Warner, they have a whole community of people who are doing really, really well. So there's ways to be successful with all these things. But yeah, we're just here sharing our 2 cents, and we appreciate everybody. And yeah, Philip is saying E2A is dead. Yeah, Philip's always in the eBay to Amazon community. Dude, if it's dead, why are you in the community all the time? No. We're always trolling each other. But yeah, it's dead, guys. Stay away from it. There's no money to be made. It's all Photoshop, and it's just a big scheme to get you to watch this YouTube video.
It's pretty unbelievable when it's successful, though. It is nice.
So Caleb, thank you so much again. For anybody who wants to hang out with me, hang out with Caleb, a bunch of other people, the Books and Beyond conference is going down October 10th to the 12th. So I'm going to try to get Caleb on a panel. We'll see if we can get him on an eBay to Amazon panel with me and Josiah and Aaron. And there's going to be a bunch of eBay to Amazon people there. So we'll have to make that happen if you're comfortable with that. But guys, Link down below if you want to grab a ticket. And yeah, I'm pumped to see you in real life, man. So thank you so much for coming on, dropping your knowledge, man. I learned a lot. You got me jacked up, inspired. So thank you, Caleb.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. And I'll let you know when Caleb comes out with his YouTube channel down the road. Okay.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Much love. Thank you.